when I'm at the beach in the cold, I turn to the beast. Like it's hard to tap into it until it wakes up in you. You don't always get to choose when you wake it up. So like, I mean, if you come to that beach, I promise you I will not disappoint.
Welcome to the New Age Human Podcast, where we empower conscious creators, entrepreneurs, and empaths by diving into subjects like alternative health, mindfulness, and innovative technology. I'm your host, John Estacio, and in today's episode, we're talking with Brandon Cooke, the founder of Sunday Swim, which is a holistic health company on a mission to change the world through exposure to the cold, specifically cold water. Now, if you're looking for ways to improve your mental health, physical health, and find out how he turned a passion into a growing movement, including gaining the attention of New York Times and Fox News, this is an episode you don't want to miss. Now, if you want to support the show, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That helps us out a lot. And head over to newagehuman.com so you can join our newsletter and get sneak peeks and heads up on future projects. Now, with that said, thank you for joining us today. Let's get started. So, yeah, first, thank you for coming onto the show. We reconnected again, and I know that we finally did a cold plunge into the lake when we reconnected at an event recently, and that was an awesome experience. But thank you for coming on the show, Brandon.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. I want to know why cold plunge? A lot of people talk about cold showers. A lot of people hate cold showers. You started Sunday Swim. Where did that come from? Why?
So when I was in college, I would say even in high school it started. I was dealing with some mental health issues. I didn't know how to manage stress. I would party a lot. I would take my anger out on things. And I didn't like the person I was becoming or the trajectory that I was going. And I had like a 3-day span where like everything kind of just fell out of control. I was, my long-term relationship at the time ended. My grandmother passed like the next day, and it brought a lot of shame on me because I didn't go to her 90th birthday party because I spent it studying for work, and that test that I ended up studying for was like this big exam because I wanted to work on Wall Street. I was really good in finance, and I failed too, and it was just like, yeah, it was crushing. And like, I didn't see any hope, but like the future was unclear. Like I couldn't see past the day. Like it was really like a terrible time. And, I was in a bad place for a little while, but then, you got two options. You can sink or you can swim. I say it all the time. And I've always prided myself on being a guy, when he falls down, he picks himself back up. So I reassessed the situation, where I was in my life, why I got to this point. And I sat down with it for a little bit. I wanted to understand why I lost, not just jump back real quick. And part of my healing process, and I was studying a lot, but it was new things. It wasn't finance anymore. It wasn't the typical what college wanted me to study, where I thought that they wanted me to go get a regular job and be unhappy just chasing the dollar. I came across Wim Hof, the Dutch extreme athlete, the Iceman. He's my inspiration, my love. And I just scrolled on the internet one day. It just happened to come across him, and he was shirtless in some snowstorm, and he had this great beard and this passion in his eyes, and you could see how much he was filled with joy and love, and how inspired he was. And I said, if I could just get a little taste of this, I could be good. And his message on changing the world, making it a happier, healthier lifestyle, I absolutely fell in love with it, and I started studying his method. I was reading his book. I was doing the breathing work. I was practicing the cold therapy, and it was really difficult when I first started doing it.
You mean it wasn't
I
easy?
know,
Like you just didn't feel it?
no,
You didn't just dive right in?
no. I mean, like the first time I went in, I probably lasted like 30 seconds. And I was just yelling the whole time, stay hard, stay hard, stay hard. Because I thought I was David
By
Goggins,
yourself?
Like I was actually with like 4
Okay.
people. Yeah, it wasn't really. So I was understanding what I was still doing at
Mhm.
that time. I was just doing it, but I wasn't mentally prepared or accepting of the challenge. I was still fighting it. And then as I continued to study the process, I was starting to feel better. Like, I was starting to feel more confident. I was getting my swagger back. And me and my brother went together in October of 2021. And when we went in that water, man, like I understood what Wim was talking about. Like the bond that was created between me and my brother in that moment was like we were inseparable. And I understood him and all of his pain and all his struggling. And we got out of that water and we chased each other around like we were kids. Like it was crazy. I was jumping, attacking them, playing around like animals. I was like an animal would. Like they bite each other a little bit. And it was so fun. We had such a good time. And I realized like, damn, this cold water is no joke. Like, and I made it my mission to show the people. Because at the end of Wim's book, he puts up a call to action saying that we can change the world. And I heard him loud and clear. I understood what he wanted to say, and I knew that God had a purpose for me. And that made me excited to understand. Like, because when I was going through that tough time, I was like, what am I doing here? What I have no purpose. I'm just messing around, having fun, doing whatever I want. Like, that's not living life. And once I felt that purpose, I woke up every day excited again because I understood that if I could just help one person, then this is all been worth it. And for 20 weeks straight that year, 2022, we went into the ocean every single week. And week by week, we'd get some new faces. We'd have some returning ones. You'd even have a week or two where there was like only 2 people. But I knew that if I stuck to the plan, that people would see it. Because the cold water is it's a positive energy. You leave feeling better. I know that this product doesn't miss. Yes, it's hard, so sometimes it's scary to come back. But I knew that I had something here, whether it was 1 person, 2 people, 20 people. And this year we made it a real company. And week 1, we had like 150 people show up. And it was like one of the coolest days of my life. It was so awesome. And I was able to like lead us out into the water and just watching everyone run out of that water with smiles on their face.
Wow.
That meant the world to me. It was like a whole 2 years of hard work and people called me crazy. Like people really thought like lost on my mind and they were judging me. And yeah, because people didn't understand the cold. When people don't understand stuff, they don't they like to label it as something because they're not okay with just saying it just is. Like when people go in that cold water, they say it's so cold, so cold. And something that really helped me is it just is. You don't have to label everything. It can just be something. And man, this year was like a wild ride. Next thing you know, we took off and we were in New York Times. We were in Fox News twice. We had a follow-up interview with Wim Hof. She was like, everything came full circle and it was beautiful.
Insane. What was it like
Yeah.
to have that interview with Wim Hof? Can you like go into that? Because I know that you said you published an article with him, but I didn't know you interviewed him. Like,
so no, I wasn't there.
Okay.
I wasn't there. So like, yes, upsetting a little bit. I was a little
it's a
disappointed
step further
because it was like, yes, we're still, listen, we'll make sure, I'll make sure it happens one day. But okay, so like I had mixed emotions on this too, because it was so big and to not be able to be there was upsetting to me. But Angelica Stabile, the one who wrote the article for us, I met her this year and she's a gem. She is such a good person. She has such a warm heart. She came to the swims because she figured that if she was going to be the one representing like Sunday Swim and doing the interview, she should understand it too, right? So she, even the week before, plunged with us to ask us questions. We went over the book and the topics. So in a way, I felt like I was there through her. So it was beautiful. And at some point, you got to drop the ego. Who am I? Like, what does it matter if I meet him? Like, to be honest, I'm still spreading his message.
To be clear, she came to you guys and she's like somebody that works within his company. Is that what's going on?
So we had our first interview. She's actually from my hometown, but works for Fox News. And she came to the swim. She heard about it. So she wrote a whole article. That was like just us. It was a great piece. It was like cold therapy can change your life, something like that. And then she reached out to Wim Hof's team and was able to secure an interview. So the way that they did it was like a follow-up of that first one on cold therapy. was now, okay, we've talked about cold therapy. Well, where did this start? Who's the Iceman? And it went into like the Iceman, Wim Hof. And then the article kind of went like, and this is how it's inspiring other people to push the message.
Mm.
So it was kind of like that. But she did have a point where she was able to send like a message from me, like saying, so there's a clip saying that Brandon Cooke wants to thank you for like saving and changing his life. And he's like, wow, that's so beautiful. Love and power. So like now I love to always say love and power. You can see it's just like something so beautiful. And, maybe I didn't get to speak to him, but I do think I understand him.
You
And,
got
and
your name. Someone came out to you. So
yeah,
that's like the beginning. Like, think about it. Before, you would have been like, I'm your
yeah,
fan. I'm gonna shoot you an email. I started a company after just your practice. And even then he might have,
mhm,
right? But you actually have someone that came to you that was local, got inspired
yeah.
to add you to a story, and then mentioned you by name to him. And if you have do you have access to that video?
I
Oh,
do. Yeah, I could send it to you. I could
okay,
send it
yeah,
to you.
yeah, yeah, that would be cool. But I was
Uh,
asking that if you wanted to reach out and to connect or communicate with him, right? That's a
mhm,
tool you could use under your
yeah,
belt. Like, hey, you know what? We're doing some big things, and it's all because of you. And that person, that's me, and I would love to connect with you. I can like that would be a crazy story, even right?
yo, that's actually a great idea. Yeah, I might have to do that right after we hang up this call. Yeah,
I'm
I
getting
think I'll do that.
goosebumps.
You know, yeah, me too, man. The only part that upsets me is that Wim Hof, when I came across him, the people who were running his page were like epic. They made him look like a beast, and I think they have a new like
Mm,
marketing team because he doesn't actually run his
I'm sure.
Instagram page. It kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Like you have this guy who is 26 Guinness World Records, and they don't even like post about him. They post about, just regular people, like just regular people like me. Like, yes, it's cool to see us, but I already get so much of that. I want to see him. I
On
want to hear
his
his voice. I
social
want to hear
media.
his, yeah, on
Mm.
his social media. So I think they could do a lot more than they currently do.
Do you mean to say
Mhm.
that his social media doesn't show him and you want to see more of him? And that was kind of a letdown
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, though it is because I just think that they could do a better job. I mean, I think I could do a better job, like with his. Let's just be honest. Like, I have a good social media team. I
Yeah.
think we could do a better job showing how epic and powerful. And you know what I love about him too is I think there's a big issue right now between like the divine femininity and masculinity, and where people are like afraid to show that.
To be masculine?
And yeah, it's like a bad thing to be masculine. I don't think it is. It doesn't mean that we're not in touch with like, our feminine side as well, but they put you down, I almost, for being masculine at this point. Like it's a negative thing. And I think society works better when we're both in our roles for the most part. But Wim Hof, his like masculine side, I don't think they show as much that power and the vigor in his body and like the roar. I love that about him. On top of, how sweet he is and gentle. But like, I love that power behind him, like a
And
Viking.
I can totally see you putting that into
Mm,
your communication with him, saying like, I want to see more of you, and I would like to bring that out in a conversation with you. Like,
yeah.
who knows? Keep me posted
Who
on
knows
that,
is
man.
right.
That's gonna be
I
cool.
will.
So
I will.
I want to rewind back. I think you're doing
Mhm.
really big things. I mean,
Thank you.
if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I just turned 24.
24, and you're doing a
Uh-huh.
lot of this stuff. And the funny thing is, for anybody listening or watching, when we were getting this set up, Brandon's like, I'm not that tech savvy. So,
No.
and we were just talking about how like that's part of your persona is you're all in
Mhm.
for nature. You're all in for the real
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
And when someone says, oh, I'm not tech savvy, like I have an extra space for that person because I'm like, they get it, right?
Thank
They
you.
get it. That
Yeah.
instead, we want to watch 4K, 8K, but just go outside. That's like infinite
Yeah.
K. But I want to rewind back to Sunday swim and how
Mhm.
that grew. Can you elaborate on how you grew that?
Yeah. Okay. So October, October 2021. That was the first time I went with my brother. The next day I came up with the name, Sunday Swim. I said, hell yeah, this rocks. Like we swam on a Sunday. Sometimes you gotta keep it simple, It doesn't like I want people to a good name, people. can remember it, recognize it, and they feel like connected to
Hmm.
it, right? They understand what it is. Sunday, swim. Simple. Boom. You swim on a Sunday. That's easy. So once I came up with that, it was like, it's like, all right, you know what? Let's make this something. Like it was just an idea in my head because I already created a car company before that. So I knew that I knew I could do it. Like I ran a company before, but this one was a lot more complex. Like this is a system I still haven't completely figured out revenue streams for. You know, I've been working on it for 2+ years now, and I make very little money on it. But I understand that this is a big picture. The goal isn't to make money, right? I don't do things to make money. I do things because God put me here for a higher purpose, and that He wants me to be doing this currently. And I think just by the laws of nature, the more you give, the more you get to. So I think one day we'll be able to
I
work
feel
that
like
out. But
I do want to interject
yeah,
as someone listening to you talk about how you wanted to be on Wall Street. Like that's just like money,
yeah,
money, 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 money. And then
that's it.
for tragedy to happen and like life hits you and you just now
Mhm.
would you ever thought that you would say those words like I've been doing this for 2.5 years. I'm turning this from a passion project into a business that's going to thrive and
Mhm.
generate revenue, but I'm not stressed about the money right now.
That's what happens, man. Once you hit rock bottom, it's the all fear goes away. Like that was a big part of it. Just go off that was I was scared of where I could possibly go if I didn't pass these tests or if I didn't make this amount of money. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to die. Like I'm not. I'm afraid to not have fulfilled my
Mm.
purpose and made this world a better place while I've been here. I think it would be selfish for me to go out and get a job, work on Wall Street, and make that much money. What you know? You just say if that happened, even if I could make a ton, like did I make the world a better place? I don't know. I don't think so. So I think this is where I'm supposed to be, and I just have
Hmm.
faith. I have faith that it's going to work out, and you know, I get rewarded by smiles like that too. But it's brought my family together, even, which has been a one of the coolest parts, I would say. Like, you know, me and my dad and my brother have connected so close over this because it's something that's only 3 minutes a day. You're at least with them like once a day. And my brother doesn't live here anymore, but he was actually home for the weekend. But anytime I get to spend with them is a true blessing, and I've been so thankful that this has brought us together. But but yeah, besides that, yeah, it is interesting that I could go from being someone who what's you know what it was though? It was the ego. I had a big ego. I thought a lot about what people thought about me. And I think that's where my anxiety
Mm.
stemmed from.
Yeah.
And I just thought like maybe okay, you know, like being a small growing up being like a tiny guy, you know what I mean? I'm not a big guy. I don't have this big persona, but like sometimes that gets in your head and whether you realize it or not. And I think you try and prove things to other people like, oh, I'm this tough, blah, 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 blah. I'm this, I'm that. Once you hit that rock, you see the world
Yeah.
completely different. And it's just
And you're
like,
humble too. I mean, I'm like, this is
yeah,
Zach Efron right
thank you.
here. He's jacked,
Thank you.
like leading
Thank
the
you.
crowd, like screaming, like
Thank you.
there was testosterone like everywhere. It was nuts.
That was cool. That was a good day. That was really
Yeah. Do
awesome.
you feel maybe going back to like growing
Mhm.
that organization or just growing that
Oh,
following,
yeah.
right? Sorry, I just had
Mhm.
to interject
Oh,
before.
I
No, no
forgot
worries.
too.
That's my job. No, I just wanted to highlight in the past, like, like this is
Yes.
great. Like you went from one direction to another, and it's amazing how life can change and how much happier you are with a completely
Mhm.
different direction.
Yeah.
And now you have this growing community and you're leading the charge. Literally, I felt like I was going to war. I will tell you that I think you'll
That's right.
appreciate this. I was the friend that was the last to go into the pool. Everybody would jump in, and if it was too cold, I would just kind of like put my toe in, then put my ankle in, sit on the edge. Because if I were
Mhm.
to get it like really cold, like I turn blue, I start chattering. It's like with my teeth, it gets nuts. And that day, you're like, let's go. I'm like, ah, and we just like if I could, I would have dove in, right? And
That's epic, John.
and I
That's epic
slid
stuff right
on. I
there.
thought you appreciate that. And then there was
Yeah,
like
I
this
did.
metal railing, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be cool.
Did you
I
slide down
slid,
it?
but then I
Oh,
had dry pants and it was just like not working.
did you get caught?
I went like,
I gotta
yeah,
check the camera footage. I gotta check that
you're
out.
gonna
Yeah.
see. I slid down like halfway, and then like I was like, I'm gonna get caught, and this is gonna be bad. And so
That would have
I
been tough.
jumped off, and then like I slid, like I landed on the edge of the stair, and the stairs are stone, and so I just
Yeah, that
slid,
was tough.
hit that, and then we just went off, and everybody's swimming, right? And then we went on to just as a reference to anybody listening. I'm in there. I wasn't even giving a reference. There was a recent recharge retreat that we both went to, and it was a great
Hmm.
event in, I think, Candlewood Lake, Connecticut. And at the very end, Brandon just led the charge, and we just like it was September at that time. But anyways, it was 50
Yeah, and
degree weather,
September.
water, and he just convinced like a good amount of people, like half of the people, to just run into this water. And some people weren't even prepared, and they went in their boxer briefs anyways. That's how much you inspired them. And I'm going
Thank you.
nuts, right? So that's like a background. So the reason why I tell you that is when we got out of the water, I had so much adrenaline, I forgot that I cut myself trying to jump in there.
Oh
So I'm
no.
like, my heel is all bleeding, but like
Oh
the
no.
power of adrenaline. uh,
It's
yeah,
strength,
yeah, yeah.
right?
But
That's what
yeah,
happens.
I just wanted to share that with you. But I'm curious.
Thank you.
Everybody's wanting to know, like, how did you grow this
Okay.
movement?
So sometimes I get sidetracked because I get so excited, but let me
Sure.
stay
Yeah, yeah.
focused
No.
on this one. Okay. So I started the first year. The first year was both years were difficult so far. So it said we had like 2 years of work, but the first year was just me being me, not per se like a business owner. You know what I mean? It was just doing my thing, making sure we can get people to go to the beach and healing ourselves. But the first one I went, I had 4 people join me, and that's pretty much because they slept over my house after New Year's Eve, like partying, and I dragged them with me. But then they felt how good they felt. I think a big part of it was always just reassuring people, or not reassuring, helping people understand how good that they're going to feel after they do something hard, and promoting that instead of this crazy thing that we're about to do. Just hey, like you go do this, you're going to feel incredible. Your life is going to be substantially better through science. So week by week, I set up my phone every single week on the floor of the sand. I put a shoe up and I would film it. And I figured, you need to be on social media. You got to keep the eyes, get people watching, and it's something epic because I really believe in like vibrations and frequencies, and I understood that this was like a high vibration thing that people would be attracted to if they just caught their eye on it, and it does help. We have some attractive people there, like it just does, like, and I figured if I could highlight that, we could start getting more and more people. And week by week, I was clipping up videos. The sand would be messing up the audio. I didn't know how to edit anything. Like you're talking to a guy who couldn't even figure out how to get headphones into like a computer. But I did it every week. I'd write beautiful captions from the heart. Where I was so afraid for people to see that side of me, I let go, and I would just write everything I was feeling that week. And I was unafraid of what I was about to say. I was unapologetic with being authentic in myself. And I think people were attracted to that. Not many people like to talk about their losses or the stress that they dealt with in their life. I don't know why. I really don't understand. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think we're all one. Like we're not separate entities. I believe we're one being. We're brothers and sisters of the same human race. So like it's okay. The pain you felt, I've felt that pain. That happiness, the joy that you've experienced, I've also experienced that. But right now I'm going through this time in my life, and I need someone to share that with, or to at least like it helped myself with my healing to be able to share that with other people, and then hear that they've dealt with similar things and that they've been able to conquer it, because it gave me hope again. And I started really focusing on creating a story and pushing that story as we were building a company the first year. So I was able to utilize social media and the power of the tongue. I would say were the two things, as well as getting some influential people to the beach. That one of my this girl I met, I caught wind that she liked what we were doing, and at this point in time, everyone was still laughing at us, but they liked it. Like people enjoyed watching it, but they were like, "What the hell are these guys doing?" And she was big time. She had a ton of followers and stuff. Very pretty girl, successful businesswoman, and so I reached out to her, and we were able to get her to kind of talk about what we were doing too, and that helped out a lot. You know what I mean? Because now they see someone else enjoying it and catching interest in it. And when people see that it becomes a trend, they hop on it real quick. We had different people every week, but on average, it was about 10 people per week. So it was yo, cool.
I doubled, man.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the last one of the year, I think we finished with 20 people, which was really cool. And it was an epic day. There was a sandbar in the middle of the ocean where you had to swim pretty far out. You couldn't really see it from the beach, but you knew it was there, and it was so foggy. That's why you couldn't really see it. So it was you were entering a new world, and it was one of the most awesome days ever. So we finished the year off great last year. People were excited, and I focus a lot of my attention after the swim season. So we go from December 1, the closest Sunday of that, to Memorial Day weekend. But after I finished the swim season the first year, I was focusing a lot on my car company, trying to keep that going, building. And once it got back to October, that's usually when I start the preseason, get things back together. This year we handle things differently because we're taking it seriously now. But I started getting people in the tubs again, inviting them over to my home, welcoming them as family, making sure that they know that I care about them and want to push them. So again, I was utilizing our social media. We built up the hype. I did a countdown to get people there for the week. I was telling people there was going to be 100+ people for months. And I had no idea if we were going to have 20 people. I was just manifesting these things. I figured, the people want a show. Let's give them a show. If it don't happen, it don't happen. But I'm gonna do my best to make it happen. And then we connected with these two guys, Brandon Kenny and Kevon Scott. Shout out, my boys. They helped us take this super seriously and really build the company. So they are also from my hometown. They're a few years older than us, but they're hustlers, and they saw that same hustle in us, and they wanted to connect with us. So they were sponsoring they offered to sponsor our event. And they got videographers, professional, and cameraman to show up to the week one. So we were able to highlight the day that we had, and it was epic. It was really cool. I was so scared to speak in front of everyone because the first year I only spoke once in front of people, but I would challenge our other friends to give a lead out speech because I knew that it was uncomfortable for them. And I wanted them to be uncomfortable as possible, as part of the process. You overcome it, it's practice. And I wanted it that week. I was always the guy that would be sweating if I had to speak in front of everyone, I was terrified. I would have panic attacks. I'd black out. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would panic because I was so afraid of what people are going to say. And this time I just said, fuck it. Let's do it. And took that flag and I just stamped it in the ground and everyone went out. And I think my confidence went up since then.
So you had a flag and then.
Yeah, my brother got me a flag, and and I nailed it in the grass. It's Sunday swim. We bring it everywhere we go, pretty much. It's sick. I'll show you. It's dope. Yeah, my brother, he's the man. He's awesome.
So
he supports me through everything.
This, and that's awesome. I mean, it bringing family closer together, people supporting you, people finding out, it's building. You stayed focused. You said it's gonna be.
Yeah.
You had 20 people behind you. And you're like, it's going to be 100, 150.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's go.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's going to, which is awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. That's you manifested it. You literally manifested it.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. So okay. So then moving forward, I'll speed it up. So what we focused on was believing in the community, right? I didn't want to monetize right away because it's like a home. You can't build a sturdy home without a strong foundation. So I thought that, what really are we? the cold water itself is its own product. I don't have to worry about that selling or anything. It's going to deliver every time. So I just focused on making sure that our community was happy and healthy and strong. And I used them as an example to show to other people that, listen, if you come here, you can be happy and healthy like these other people. And they kept coming back. They kept coming. And that was the hardest part. It's like, okay, now that I delivered for 2 weeks in a row or 3 weeks in a row, and we started getting some new beginning of the news coverage those first 3 weeks, I was like, shit, I got to do this for 20 weeks, like get people to come back. So look, how can I keep it entertaining? How can I keep it fresh? How can I keep it new? So what we started doing was reaching out to health and wellness people on Long Island. So we started bringing like some yoga teachers to hold classes, breathing coaches before the events. And we were just kept expanding our community. And we really developed a good core of people that I would do anything for. I love them. Some college teams, a lot of athletes we have too. And we finished the year off strong. And we even started pushing ourselves to the limit, like signing up for races. Like I just signed up for a half marathon, did it, like banged it out. I
Just
did good
banged it
actually.
out, you know.
Yeah, just banged it out. And then we did a triathlon and I just banged it out. Like it's just, but that's what the thing is like what I love about Sunday Swim is that it's dynamic. It's ever changing, but it always comes back to its core of like, the cold therapy, the mental health, and it's, and like, the Wim
Yeah.
Hof method. And but he talks about pushing himself, so I always try and push ourselves as a company to its limit and see where we can go from there. So now moving into this next season, I'm focusing on building those revenue streams, continuing to further our communications with gyms, wellness centers across the island. So now I'm pretty well connected with a ton of them. Like we have a solid network, and we were gonna open a gym last month, but then we decided to put a pause to it and say, listen, that's not really who we are at our core. Yes, that is something we do and we believe in. It might be down the line, but right now I want people to understand that we are like a holistic health brand, with an edge. We do it a little bit our way. We believe in mental health and being physically strong and healthy. And I'm excited for this new year, and we're going to build out those revenue streams without, penny pinching from our community, because that's not where I want it to come from. But I will find a way to start building this real business and being able, because now we got a real strong team. I got like 5 guys that work with us effortlessly. Our CEO is Brett Scher. My guy Brandon Kenny was one of our sponsors, who is now acting as our
Nice.
CFO. And then we have Fernando, who was started off as our cameraman, and he worked effortlessly and didn't even ask for a dollar near the end, because he just knew that what we had was a long-term
And
project.
those people are crucial too. People that see the vision before it happens, right?
Yes. And help me see the vision too. Because, I saw it to a point. I completely knew where I wanted to build it to, but we're kind of at the point where I first saw, that first vision I had, like that was what I wanted. I wanted hundreds of people, maybe thousands one day. I want those beaches to be filled. I want to show up like Braveheart one day on the horse, like
Paint on your
getting the people
face.
going and running the water. Yeah, it would be so cool. Just spreading love and positivity. And again, it's dynamic, it's ever changing. So we're going to guide it the best we can and take it to
Man.
the limit. I don't see where it can go. I mean, I think we could do a lot of things with it. So, and hopefully we can get you out there one
Yeah.
of these weeks this year.
Actually, I was going to ask you, do you have anybody or any story of somebody sharing how much it changed them that you
Yeah,
can share?
my
And
father.
like maybe something that the audience would really
Oh,
appreciate, like did not expect that, like something unexpected.
okay. I'll give it's actually incredible that you asked that question, because this is crazy. I don't know if you saw this on my page the other day, but about a week before Sunday Swim started, my father, it's just tough because it's like a fine line. So I just got to tiptoe the line
Sure.
with what I say here. My father told me to check my hidden messages for whatever reason. He just new to Instagram and told me to like check it. I guess he sent something there. And when I checked it, I saw I had this other message. And it was this long message from some kid I guess I went to high school with that was a few years younger than me. Told me that he was really struggling with drug addiction and he lost, like, people close to him, and was going through it and didn't know if he could make it like another day. And it's just, he saw what we were doing, and we inspired him to keep like just trying at least. And he still was not sober at this point in time. And he was like, it was a cry for help. I just came across this message, and I called him. I said, like, send me your message. I called him. We spoke on the phone for a while, and he was crying, and like it was making me emotional. And I told him that I would be there for him. Anything that he needed, I would help him see it through, because again, we're brothers and sisters. Like, when you hurt, I hurt. I want you to be happy and healthy. And I was really there for him in that point in time. I spoke to him a lot. I had him come over to my home. I got him in the cold plunge, and we helped him get sober. And he just celebrated 9 months, actually, a couple days ago.
Wow.
And he sent me this beautiful message. He's changed. He's a good kid, and I think he's a modern miracle. That's what it's all about. He's a beautiful story. He's a beautiful soul. And he was telling me that we talk about changing the world, and that's what I mean by that. I'm not saying we're gonna do something like, cure world hunger. I'm just gonna do my part, and if I can make an impact on someone's lives that I come across, then that's changing the world. And he was telling me that now he was able to help some kid get sober, and he's got a few months, and he's like, there's people that you will never say hello to, you will never shake their hand, you will never understand them, but you made a difference in their life. And that was like, fuck yeah, man. Like, that rocks. Like, that's rock star shit. He had me like tearing up the other day. And yes, this has changed people's
Wow.
lives. And it's more than even the cold therapy. He's done it a few times, but he never really like bought in completely on the cold therapy. But it's a sign of hope. It's people that believe that there's more from themselves, more from this world, and people that care about them and love them, and want to see them bounce back. We don't all have we've made mistakes in the past. I've made 100 of them. Like, I wasn't always, I think, my greatest person, like, I don't claim to be some amazing person, but I just know that I'm trying to be the best that I can and make a difference. And I'm so blessed that I was able to help him in his time of need. And yeah,
That
that
was
was
a
cool. So the viewers, that was a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
one.
Thanks for sharing that. That says
Yeah.
a lot too, and I'm sure that fuels you to do stuff that you don't want to do.
Hell yeah.
And I can only imagine, right? Like, and that makes you think, if how many people have a similar situation and don't say anything, but still follow, right? And so
Hmm.
that's what made me think about what you're doing, and for all those people that are watching, right? They're watching, and
Hmm.
they're doing their part, and they're saying, one of these days I'm going to go there. I'm just going to show up, and he'll never know that
Yeah,
I was following him for like years, and
that'd
taking
be
cold
cool.
showers. So when because I'm considering going because I had fun, but like, are you worried about like how long are you in the water for? In
About 3 to 5
Okay.
minutes. Your body can handle up to 20 minutes without even signs of any wrongs about to happen.
Because you guys swam out
Um,
to a sandbar and came back.
No, that was just
Okay,
one
okay.
time. That was when we were a little more in our
I was
reckless
like,
phase, when our first season. This last year we did it a lot more. It was a lot more
okay,
structured this year. So we had a set time. We would go in every single week. It was 12 o'clock every single week, unless it was Mother's Day. Moms come first, so we had to change it that week. We go there. You say your hellos, you gather up on the beach, we have the music playing, you do some, like, flips, tricks, whatever you want to do, just having fun, keeping warm while we're waiting for everyone to show up.
that's.
Then if yeah. Yes, you got to keep warm a little bit on the beach while we're
Do you have a
waiting for
cutoff
everyone.
time? Because
But
like,
11:55, we're
all
getting
right,
ready to go in the water. So that's why we have the set time. So show up as early as you want, if you can handle it. Show up 2 minutes before, sit in your car before, like, it don't matter to me. Then typically, we'll set our breath a little bit, so we're getting ready. If we have a speaker, we'll do that earlier, and we'll let people know, so that way we're not keeping them at the beach for hours, But then I'll give a little speech, get us excited to go out. We go in, we Everyone's got to go head under. We say you have to, but obviously no one has to do anything. And then once we get in there, we're all conscious of the people around us, making sure they're okay, doing all right. For the most part, you're only up to your waist, like in that water. So it's almost easier, I'd say, than an ice bath where you're submerged fully. But we'll circle up. Everyone in the water will go and circle up, hold hands, and then we dunk
Mm,
together. And then once you do that, you're free to you're done. So then once we come out of the water, we do the horse stance to warm up. We make sure everyone's okay. And we haven't had any issues yet with anyone, but it is a real possibility. So we just have to be careful at all times and make sure we're following correct
okay.
protocol. But uh, this isn't for the weak. Like, I'll tell you that this is for savages and anyone that wants to change. So I'll plunge at your own risk. But
That word, that
it's
phrase, we're savages.
yeah,
That
we are savages.
you have this family being interviewed on TV, and they're asking, "Oh, why'd you do this?" And then the kid's like, takes the mic, like, "We're savages!" Like, and I can see you doing that,
We
like, "We're
are, man.
savages," and then just disappear.
We are.
I think a good way to end it off.
Mhm.
First of all of your information, how to reach you, and everything will be in the show notes for
Yeah.
anybody that's wondering how to communicate with you and contact you. But could you do us the honor and sending us off as if we're going to jump into the cold plunge? Give us a nice
All right.
like
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I
like
could do that.
we're on the
I gotta tap into my
yeah,
beast.
tap in,
Gotta tap
and
my
maybe I'll give
beast.
you the scene, right? We just got out of our cars.
Okay.
It's 11:55 a.m. The sun is out, but there's a cold frost. Like the sand has like that crunchiness to it, and you're just walking through it and you're thinking that's snow, but it's not. It's just freaking cold, and you got the chills on your feet, and everybody's huddled around, and they're just looking at you as the hot air comes out of their mouth and feels like the steam of just the body heat and the so you hear people chattering and you see in their eyes they're unsure. When does the beast come out? Like, what do you tell those people? Like, it's is it go time? Are we gonna give up and like just, hey, you know what, if it's too much, go back in your car, but this is for savages? Or are we just all gonna go for, like, where does the beast come out? Like, what do you tell these guys?
Well, I believe that we have in myself. I believe that there's two parts to me. As I said this at the beach, or when we were doing it together. There's the monk. There's the warrior. It's time now to be the warrior. We just practice our breathing. We're set. We go in. We do this. It's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be an easy thing that we're doing, but you wouldn't be here today if you didn't want to change, if you didn't want to be great. So let's go into that water. Let's challenge ourselves, push ourselves to the limit, and be fucking great. And then I'd get everyone going, and then we'd run in. But it really, what? It's hard to do it without being in that setting. Because when I'm at the beach in the cold, I turn to the beast. Like it's hard to tap into it until like it wakes up in you. You don't always get to choose when you wake it up. So I mean, it's a little tough for me right now, but if you come to that beach, I promise you I will not disappoint. Like, I will get you guys fired up.
Hell
But
yeah, hell yeah.
right now, once the sand's between my toes, I'm a
I could
different
attest to
person.
it. I
It's
was there. I was
yeah.
like, this guy is crazy.
They do say that. They
Like,
do say that.
like,
You know what it is though, because I believe in the vibration. I know how to get people to be where they need to
mm-hmm.
be to get set. And we've had days where we walk in together, holding hands into the ocean. There's some days that are calmer than others. We don't always attack the water. It depends on the day. But when I have a big crowd of people I know I need their beast waking up. Like I looked at everyone at that event, and we just spent a whole day, right, of talking about being great and doing this and doing that. This was a chance to take action on it. So I was like, how can I not get these guys fired up? Like, I don't give a fuck if I look like an idiot. I don't care. Like, my goal is to get them amped up to go in the water. And sometimes people need to wake that beast up and know that they have that inside of them. Like, we don't tap into it because, again, we're scared to show the masculine or that strength in us because some people don't know how to control it. But the cold water teaches you that. It wakens up that beast, and you have to learn how to control it. You have to surrender to it. Like, it's, if you don't surrender to it, you're in trouble. You're gonna be fighting it, and just understand it.
Well, yeah. You're
So,
gonna and what you so you gave us a nice,
mhm.
calm, like, taste. So actually, that's a
Yeah,
teaser. Like, this is a call. Go on Sunday
that's it.
when you start. You start December, right?
Yeah, December 31st is our first one of the new year. We're rolling out the red carpet. We're gonna simulate like a New Year's Eve ball drop party. It's gonna be sick. Dressed to impress, whatever that means to you. I'll probably show up in an old black suit, no shirt, and my coyote hat. Something
I'm gonna hold
ridiculous.
you to
Like,
that.
that's probably what I'm wearing. I'm like 100%. I always wear something ridiculous because I think that fashion's a cool
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
it. It's a time. It's like you show up to that beach, you walk down that boardwalk. We always make sure there's a cameraman there, so you get like your flick of your
So
cool
people wear
outfit,
some weird
and
stuff.
oh
Oh,
yeah, crazy shit.
this is great.
Yeah, I wear really weird shit sometimes, but it's just another way to express yourself, and some people really like to do it that way. So for me, I always get excited for the dress up part, and like, I don't know, as much as I'm a beast, I like to be a prima donna sometimes. It's like,
All right.
it's just what it
Well,
is.
you know what? Thanks for coming on to the podcast, to the show, whatever you want to call it. Any last words that you want to tell anybody listening here that has curiosity, is kind of familiar, or something that you didn't get a chance to say earlier?
I just want people to know that you're never alone. If you need someone, I am here for you. You can reach out to me. My Instagram is Brandon.Cooke. You can also reach out to Sunday Swim X. If you need anything, we're here for you. I believe in you. Never give up. Believe in yourself. And don't be afraid to take a leap of faith because that just might be what you need to do. And it's scary. Going into the unknown is a challenge, but I promise you'll come out on the other side better for it. And if you can help someone else in turn too,
Nice.
do it. Even if you have to go out of your way to do it. So yeah, that's it. We gonna change the world, baby, in love and power, like what
How does
Paul
he do
said.
it? How you
That's
do
what
it?
I'm doing. He goes like this. Ready?
Oh.
Love and power.
Love and power.
That's what it is, just like that. And then we out. That's how
Awesome.
we do it. That's always the close, baby. I love it.